Welcome back to A Space of Grace. Today we're going to talk about perspective. And perspective is how we see things, and how we see things affect how we respond. It affects how we grow and how we move forward. And sometimes our perspective is off. Everything we've been through shapes our perspective, from our upbringing, how we were raised, from our wounds, the things that we're still healing from, even our scars, the things that, show that we've been through something and we have healed, our disappointments, and also our victories. Because even with that, it can be, is it going to happen the same way that it happened last time? And so when we look at a situation, we're not just seeing the situation. We're seeing it through everything that we've lived. I love to cook, right? And so if I cook something and it doesn't turn out right, or when I cook something and it doesn't turn out right, I'm not going to say I messed up. I'm going to say it didn't work. Because it didn't work leaves room for me to try again. And I messed up makes me want to just stop. I messed up. I don't want to do this anymore. It's the same outcome, just different perspectives. The words we use matter because they shape how we see ourselves and how we see the situation. Mistakes don't mean failure. It means information. The reason I say that is because M is for like a misstep. A mistake is simply a step taken without full clarity yet. You moved, you tried, you weren't stagnant, and movement isn't disobedience. I is information. Mistakes give you data. What worked, what didn't work, what needs adjusting, and what you now know that you didn't know before. Information is a gift because it removes the ignorance. S is for strategy, because once the information is received, strategy can be refined. And mistakes don't end the plan, they actually shape the plan, because wisdom comes after experience. And T is for training. Mistakes train your discernment. They sharpen your ear, your timing, and your patience. And training always happens before promotion. A is for adjustment. A mistake points out where to pivot, not where to quit. Adjustment is evidence of growth, not weakness. Only teachable people can be redirected. K is for knowledge. Now you know better. And knowing better changes your capacity. You're no longer the same person who made the mistake. Knowledge increases responsibility, not shame. E is for experience. Experience is the final outcome. Experience turns information into confidence and authority. Experience is what qualifies you to help others. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 7. You hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of your own eye, and then shall ye see clearly to cast out the mote out of your brother's eye. I'm bringing that up because that's where experience qualifies you to help someone else. After you've gone through, after you've been through, now you can help someone else. So this is why language matters, because some of us have been carrying words that were never meant to define us. I want to just say this clearly. A mistake is not a failure. We've been taught that a mistake equals failure, but that's not true. A mistake is information. It's feedback. It's insight. It's data that teaches you what worked, what didn't, and what needs to be adjusted. Failure stops you. Information teaches you. So when you change the word, you change the weight that it carries. When you call everything a failure, you're training your mind to quit. But when you understand that a mistake is information, you stay teachable. And teachable people don't stay stuck. Correction was never meant to crush you. It was only meant to clarify you. So language matters because what you call a thing determines how you respond to it. Our perspective determines whether we grow or remain stuck. So I just want to go over some different responses from, well, an immature response versus a mature response. So an immature response usually deflects. When correction comes, it gets pushed away. When another perspective is offered, they shut it down. And not because they're bad, but because they're not ready to see it differently. A mature believer does something different. They admit. They don't defend. They don't deflect. They listen. Admitting doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're open. And when you admit and confess, you're opening the door for Yah to speak to you, for him to correct you, and for him to guide you. This takes trust. And you know who I love, but David understood this most of all. And we're going to go to Psalms 32 and 5. So 32 and 5 says, I acknowledge my sin unto you, and my iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto Yahuwah, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. Notice the order, all right? First, it was the acknowledgement, no hiding, then forgiveness. That shows confession isn't weakness, it's access. And right after that, when you go down to verse 8, this is Yahuwah talking back to him. He says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way which you shall go. I will guide you with my eye. Confession didn't lead to rejection. It led to instruction. And sometimes admitting shows us that we're not as far as we thought we were. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, years ago, before everything we've seen unfold, Yah spoke to me about perspective, about opening blind eyes, changing how we see people and things. And watching what's happening now just reminds me that perspective really matters. Because when Yah shifts how we see, truth becomes clearer. And that's why perspective matters. Because the same situation can look completely different when you're seeing it through Yah's eyes. Perspective determines whether we learn or we stay stuck. It's the same situation, a different response, a different outcome. Sometimes growth doesn't come from changing the situation. It comes from changing how we see it. And Yah is faithful to help us to see clearly if we're willing to look. I pray that these videos are helping. If they are helping in the biggest or the smallest way, I just pray that these are helping. And if they are helping, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need it. Because everyone has every one of us has a job to do. Every one of us has a ministry within us to administer to whomever he's given unto us to administer his word, whether it's as a mother, your children, a father, your children. It doesn't matter. Everyone, all of us are able ministers according to the word. So I pray that what the ministry that he's given through me, that it is touching the right people when they need it, how they need it, in a way that they can understand. I pray that this message helps. Pray this helps. Thank you, and you all have a great day.